everyone. Today I am having a director of AIKTC Mumbai, Dr. Abdulrazak sir. How are you, sir?
Very happy.
Nice. And now we are going to start interview. And the first question to you is, why do you like to be in a education sector rather than any other sector?
Yeah, it's really a good question. Since my days of graduation, I had that inherent quality of disseminating whatever I know with others, even with my own class fellows, my juniors. I always, wanted to share, and in the process of sharing and teaching others, I used to learn a lot. So, since teaching can also make us good learners, that quality I had developed during my graduation time itself. So, my professor, he also guided me that you can be a good resource in teaching profession, and already I had that affinity. And incidentally, immediately after my graduation, the same institute offered me that teaching position. So I thought it is really a blessing in disguise. I wanted to be in teaching profession, and I got an offer. And since then, there is no looking back. So in fact, being in teaching sector is by choice, not by chance or by compulsion. This is what I can say.
Very nice. So you like to share your knowledge with others. Nice.
Yeah.
So another question is, being in such a good position of leadership, can you say something about your leadership skills?
No, leadership qualities, uh, they are sometime, gifted, and sometime we get developed during course of our work. I could notice this even again. I go back to my graduation days. Thanks to my professor, he gave me an opportunity to lead in my final year the educational tour, all India tour, which was arranged in a most different way, not in a conventional way. So that tour was led by me. And that time I could understand what kind of pains a leader has to take, what kind of support, care, sacrifice, and even listening to criticism and taking critics very positively as a good feedback. And all that I started learning from those days, but I never thought that I may come to a position right now, what I am in. But later on, I could analyze that I have got my own inherent, gifted qualities, and I cannot, put myself into one particular framework of leadership. Uh, as per the need, as per the requirement, as per the circumstances, I have to modulate myself in different kinds of leadership positions. Sometimes, if it is that there is a need to be autocratic, yes, I am autocratic. If I need to be a motivator, I love to be a motivator. And if I require that my team involvement is a must, then I act as a team leader and also remain democratic and whatnot. All those attributes of leadership are to be practiced because the leadership position, especially in the setup where we deal with people. So during people management, we come across different set of people, different people with different abilities and qualities, people with different skills and will to do the work. So all this combination can be possible, and when we interact with them, when we deal with them, not a single type of leadership quality will work. We must be having that multi-leadership, abilities. So based on the need of the organization, we have to modulate ourselves And I am very happy that over the time, even sometime I failed, sometime my decisions went wrong, but still out of those I learned a lot. And while learning, I developed all these things and finally decided that I must be having multi attributes as a leader. So this is what I can say.
Very nice, sir. Very nice. So I think you understand very clearly that what is the difference between boss and a leader. Very nice, sir.
Yeah.
And third question to you is, what are your thoughts about education system of India?
Oh, yes. Uh, our education system, no doubt, if we go back into ancient times, it was one of the best, rather the best education system in the entire world. And people from different regions, different countries, they used to come here to our country to study and to get graduated, and all that wisdom was disseminated from our country. So our system of education, the foundation, no doubt, was very strong. But after the advent of Britishers, and after we were ruled by Britishers, uh, we we forgot our own original system of education, but adopted the system which was propagated, rather implemented by Britishers. So Britishers wanted workers, working community, and accordingly the education system was devised, and that we started practicing. But the education system of India is basically related to education for life. It should make us lifelong learners. It should make us to adopt to any kind of reason, any kind of changes, any kind of systems. So that kind of system was already there with us, but in between we missed that train and we adopted what was prevailing, what is prevailing in other parts of the world. But many countries across globe have adopted very innovative system of education. Now, if I go through the new education policy of a country, new education policy 2020, so the framework of this policy is indicating that yes, we are again going back to the wisdom era, and now the days are driven by the brain, in the sense it is not just related to information and knowledge, but how to take knowledge to the next level of excellence. That is what the need. And I can find National Education Policy 2020 will have all those features if implemented in letter and spirit. And that requires, of course, political will, because there are a lot of challenges. Even change is not that comfortable, and we have to work. And the role of teachers to implement this policy to bring back our glory of Indian education system is very important. And our teachers are supposed to become the leaders at every level. They should lead the system of education rather than following anybody. So this is what my views about our Indian education system.
So, what is the best part of your institute, which is different from other institutes?
Yes, in many ways. I don't know whether you know about our parent body. We are managed by not just any other educational organization. It is Anjuman-e-Islam. Anjuman-e-Islam is not just any organization started recently, but it is standing with its glorious history for the last 147 years. An organization which was established in 1874 by none other than the people who were highly educated, like Justice Badruddin Tayyibzi. He was the first Indian judge of Bombay High Court and the third president of Indian National Congress. So these highly educated people thought of providing education to so-called backward Muslims who were deprived of education. So they thought of starting a school to educate Muslims. And they were, in fact, freedom fighters of a country. And some of our founders, they took part in freedom struggle and they were in jail for many years. So that kind of dedicated group of people started Anjuman Islam, and since then it is being labeled as a symbol for secularism and national integration in letter and spirit. And you will be surprised to know that we are governed by such an organization where way back the first girls' school started by, it was a girls' school in Urdu medium, but it was led by a Jewish lady and a Parsi vice principal and a Saraswat Brahman Maharashtrian lady as a supervisor. So these three people took lead of a Urdu school in Anjuman Islam. You can imagine the way doors were open for all in Anjuman Islam. So that is the fabric which we are practicing even till date. And our Kalseka Technical Campus, though it started recently in 2011, in the last 10 years, it has elevated its position and became a role model campus for entire Anjuman Islam. So this is one achievement, and at the same time we have got the best thing, no doubt. Since it is a new institution, you will not find infrastructure for students training and development in any of the institutions. The best infrastructure we have got, and at the same time we have created best work culture, and our teachers are highly dedicated. They just don't do the work. They do their work as a worship, and they enjoy their work. They all are empowered, and student caring is on top. We have got human resources center for achievement, reformation, and excellence. So totally focusing on how to develop our resources, human resources, as excellent resources. So there are a number of things, and more than that, we get students almost from marginalized section of the society. They are below poverty line, and 70 to 75% of our students, they are coming from that kind of background. And the policy of our institution is not a single student is turned down because of not having financial background. We provide them financial support. Our organization Anjuman Islam puts all the efforts to see that the deserving poor student will get financially supported. So likewise, I can count a number of good things about our institute, and those who come, and so far whoever comes, whether repeated visitors or first time visitors, everybody eventually give a remark that the moment we come in your campus, it is like full of positive energy. So the energy spectrum which our campus has is really remarkable. Once we come in, we don't feel like to go back. So that is how the positivity is spread, and we make everybody work joyfully, peacefully, and blissfully. I always coin a term called JPB. So when I practice JPB, and everybody will have that kind of impact. This is what our campus is all about. But there are many things which I can count upon.
So great, sir, great. You are saying that we can see a unity in diversity in your institute, and also
Yes.
student can get a chance to training and placement from your institute. Very nice, sir. So another question is, what do you see upcoming challenges for your institute?
See, whether our institute or any institute, every time everybody will have challenges, because there is no organization which is perfect. So there are always strengths and weaknesses. The moment when we know that there are certain weaknesses which we have identified, and even ours is a youngest institute getting accreditation by NAC accredited campus is Kalsega Technical Campus. And even those authorities, they got surprised why you applied so early for NAC. And we told that yes, we wanted to follow the quality, and we wanted to have quality in our system, and we wanted to make it happen. Therefore, we applied and we got accredited. So even those authorities and our own self-analysis made us identify what are our weaknesses. And once there are weaknesses and there are challenges. For example, though placement of our graduates is not only our problem, but it is a national problem. But still, we need to work a lot, very innovatively, and in a most committed manner for ensuring that placement of graduates graduate level is increased. We put all our efforts to make them employment ready. We make them ready for startups. So all those efforts, all that training is in place. But still, a lot of stimulus is required for our students so that they become ready for placement. That is one biggest challenge. And secondly, being a young institute and having young faculty members, we have to produce the top-notch research, innovations, some discoveries. So innovation factor is not that at top level as of now, but we are having our innovation and incubation center. But we need to go little on higher scale in that, so that we even get listed under National Institutional Ranking Framework, NIRF, and even other authorities. So, these are a few challenges. And at the same time, engineering, the students' interest towards engineering is declining on wrong, notion. They always see that what is in demand today. They never foresee what is going to be in demand after 4 years or 5 years. So therefore, people will get carried away based on today's scenario, and they say that engineering is not that lucrative profession and all that. But after a couple of years, 3 to 4 years, this engineering again will come to its new heights. And I suggest the students who are potential students, if they are really having aptitude to be an engineer, they should not forget that whether there is a demand today or not, they should join. Unlike just coming based on some peer pressure. So if they have aptitude, let them come. But whatever they take up, they should do it at excellence level. That is what I can say.
That the main challenges for your institute, and I hope you overcome very very early this type of weekend. Another question
Yes.
to you is, sir, what do you do in your free time? Like, what is your favorite unprofessional activity which you like the most?
Unprofessional.
Yeah.
I hardly get time for unprofessional activities. But even if I get, I just give time to myself, and I feel like I start my living, in terms of focusing on self-analysis, self-introspection, self-discovery. And I enjoy listening to a different level of music related to Sufism, Tasawwuf, Qawwalis, bhajans. From there, I feel not exactly classical, but it is, I call it as a music of life, so that it helps me to know what am I. So to identify myself, I just do all that those crazy things. Since you asked, I have disclosed. Otherwise, they are very personal things which I know and myself.
Okay. So very nice, sir.